My Side of the Mountain, you said that was inspired by the 1959 novel My Side of the Mountain, which you read as a child. And the novel's about a boy who ran away from home, and you said you related to him. So, can you tell me about that? Tell me about relating to the boy in the novel.
Yeah, hopefully that didn't come off like I had a terrible childhood or anything like that. Um, but I think I don't know, as a kid, the idea of escapism or just having your own space, even if it's a cave, just was very exciting to me. And I really don't know why in America they have this book is like what's it called when they make you read it in elementary school? It's like one of the I forgot what that term is called. Like not forced reading, but it's very common to read this book and here. And I just thought, what a weird, dark and emotional book to make a third grader read or a fourth grader, you know. But I remember just really falling in love with the idea of making your own world and not being afraid to explore whatever that is, even if it's physically dangerous. And in the book, that there's like a life-threatening situation where there's a chance he wouldn't survive the winter. And so, but yeah, I just thought like what a perfect time to bring that book into light, just because we're living in such wild times where there's so much just divisiveness and just just hard to make your own world. So yeah.
What would you say to today's teenagers who feel like you did and want to run away from home?
Well, I mean, on the topic of running away, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak a blanket statement because, I don't know what people's situations are. I think running away from your problems is sometimes it sounds easier, but I feel like I did a lot of that, and then later being forced to face them as an adult, takes even more work to unpack. So I'm not sure if that's a solution, for a lot of people.
So you have a song on the album called HATE or H,
Yeah.
where you sing "Sweet dreams become regrets." Do you think love can make us do things that we later regret?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think that's been my entire life story up until my marriage. I look back at some of my relationships and I just shudder. I'm just like, but I feel like you would be hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't feel that way. And I think too, that's part of figuring it out. I'm a quick learner in some ways, but I think when it came to love, I was repeating a lot of the same stuff. Like, I haven't had that many boyfriends, but like when I look at my relationships, they don't look alike, but they're the same character over and over again until I broke a certain pattern. And dating people that don't love me, and or seeking love in the places that there is nothing there for me. So, um, I think I don't know. I have a lot of friends that have gone through the same thing, and yeah. But I think you can look back and still have sweet memories, and I don't really have. It's hard for me to have like bad things to say about my exes. I mean, I could if I really tried, but I'm grateful for those experiences, in a sense. I mean, some were more painful than others, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's led me to my the Gomez to my Morticia.
I've heard that. I've watched some videos which say you repeat the same lesson until you actually learn it. And I mean,
I know. I'm like, dude, I was so hard-headed. Why did I have to see that movie 10 times to figure it out? But it's part of it. It's part of it.
yeah. So do you feel like you've climbed the mountain now and reached the top of it?
I don't know. I think I'm still climbing. I think I'm gonna forever be, maybe I'm Sisyphus or something, but I do I feel like it's the beginning of everything right now. It's kind of exciting. Um, I don't feel like I've stopped, exploring different artistic outlets, and but I think when it comes to regret or looking back at my career, I'm very proud of the things that I've built, but I do regret not making music my first and foremost focus. I think when I had the makeup line, that just took up so much time, and it didn't really leave me with room for nurturing like healthy relationships, or I was just so focused on business. And there's good things. I've learned how to build empires, but at the end of the day, I wasn't doing what I love. Like, I'm not passionate about makeup. I think I'm good at it, or I'm good at designing, but I don't really care about lipstick, whereas like making music is something I deeply care about. And then I also see it connecting with my fans and followers so much more than the makeup did. I mean, I think people appreciated a good eyeliner at one point, but it's not like people are getting lyrics tattooed now, or they're feeling less alone in a world, and that to me feels more important than makeup, if that makes sense.
Were there any particular passionate moments during the making of this album?
Yeah, I think, I tend to write about, like, I like to get microscopically close to a moment in time and make a song about that. And so there are a lot of melancholy, kind of sad love song moments. I think that's my favorite genre, but it doesn't necessarily reflect my marriage, and so Raphael, my husband, we would laugh during that time because I would be coming back from Fernando's studio and I'd be like, "Hey, babe, I wrote a song that I'm really excited about, but just so you know, it's not necessarily about you." It's like, don't take offense to the lyrics, and he would just laugh because he understands the songwriting process, and not to say that our marriage is perfect, but when we do have little carbuncles, it's easier for me to write about those things than it is to be like, oh, we're so happy and it's great. Like, I don't know, I'm not a fan of happy love songs. I don't really know how to write songs like that. So yeah, but I think yeah, so I guess that's kind of the basis of a lot of songs.
Yeah. In Truth in Reverse, you sing, I want to be adored. I swear that I'm worthy. And I feel like, again, going back to that, often as we grow up or we're young, we don't feel worthy, or we feel insecure, or we don't have much confidence. Would you agree with that? And was there a moment when you specifically realized your worth?
I don't know if I had that issue for myself. I always feel like, I don't know how my parents instilled that in me, but I just always kind of, I don't know, I didn't really care too much about what people thought. I felt callings to things, and sometimes I was very wrong, and I've had to take back things I've fought for and said, but that's also part of growing up too. I think, you know yeah, I don't struggle with the insecurities of things. I feel like I oftentimes just don't belong. And I never really felt like I belonged within even my own family unit. Like, I always felt like something didn't click in some ways. And now, I mean, now I have a better relationship with my parents and stuff. I don't talk to my siblings or anything like that. But I think having this, like, feeling like an alien, I still feel that way. And that Truth in Reverse to me was, um, you know, on my faith journey, it's like I don't feel like I belong to any part, really. Like, at the moment that I wrote that song, I feel like, um, there's a struggle within my marriage, like us not being equally yoked, or like having like a declaration of faith, and how like a lot of my fans and followers maybe not understand that, and then going to a church and not feeling like I really belonged in that church, or so um at the end of the day, I'm not sure if I necessarily need to find a place that, I mean, I have found that place now, but I think at the time where I was writing it, I was still, just feeling like I do feel like I'm worthy of certain things, but the world doesn't says that I'm not. And I just don't believe the world.
Hmm. Is there anything in the music business or music that you think would symbolize worth? Or is there anything that you particularly want to achieve?
I think music to me is just, like I always say, I come at everything I do from the standpoint of being a fan. And so I'm writing things that make me high, like I want to listen back to something and be like, oh, this is cool, and kind of keep the noise of what the expectations are out, because then that I feel like starts sacrificing certain sincerities. And I think that my fans in particular are so smart, and they are they're not looking for they don't fall for just marketing, they're going to respond to the things that are authentic and that really speak to them. And like I said before, I was the kid that I was a loner. I didn't really feel like I belonged. Definitely like in school, I just didn't feel connected to anybody. And music was that for me. Like it made me feel less alone in the world. So that's my ultimate goal, is like if I can make people feel like they're not alone, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Hmm. But what's your first ever public live appearance? It was an evening with women, 2012, I think.
I think, yeah, I think that was, it was a charity event where Linda Perry had asked me to sing a song, and it was, there was a nervousness about what that might feel like, because I had never performed in front of people. And then also too, I was like, I had to come on after Amy Mann, who's like an epic singer. And I mean, I think she's so great. And um, yeah, I don't know. It was still very exciting. I just think, yeah, but that was my first time ever performing in front of a crowd. And I did a cover of Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat, which I love. And that was a lot of fun. I think Danny Lowe was on stage with me for that one.
How do you feel singing and performing now compared to then?
Oh, I think now I mean, it's night and day. I feel like because I'm performing my own songs and I'm getting to be able to like design the show and do storytelling, and in that sense it's a lot more exciting, I mean, that was just that evening with women was just like a very it's just playing one song. It wasn't like an entire performance. So I think there's like a big difference when you're playing your own shows. And again, like I said, like I'm connecting with people through my lyrics, and so it's cool to be able to like look into a crowd and see people singing along and responding. I think it's just so cool. It's like it bonds us in a different way.
Alyssa Whiteglass features on I Am a Machine, and I love that Alyssa's vegan and like you, and I'm vegan as well. And I know she speaks up a lot about, against animal cruelty. I know you've done a lot as well. But did you bond over veganism? How did you get to know?
Yeah, I think that's we met. I kind of can't remember if we met through Doyle, her boyfriend. I've been an Arch Enemy fan for a really long time, like even before she was singing. And I remember when she joined, I just thought, oh, this is so cool. It's so rare that you have a transition from one singer to another where it's so seamless, and it just feels like. And I think most of the time that happens when there's the support of the singer prior to. And I know that they're still super close. And I think she's one of the most talented friends that I have. And I was actually really nervous about asking her to sing on my album, just because, I see all the collaborations that she typically does is like it's within the metal world. And I don't make metal music. I just love metal music. And I'm like, I wonder if she's gonna like not be into like the whole electronic thing. And so I sent her like a really rough demo of I Am a Machine at the time, and she was on tour, I believe, in South America. She was having some challenging times, and she was like, man, these lyrics really resonated with me, and I'm really excited about doing it. And so when she came in to sing on that song, I just thought she was going to do like the Cookie Monster raw, that was a terrible impersonation, but and instead, like, just seeing her range, I mean, she just has such an epic range. I ended up having her sing on all the harmonies and throughout the entire song, and even on the chorus, which isn't like a screaming chorus. So it was very inspiring to watch her sing. I just think she's just a true powerhouse. And then I just felt like, we've been friends for so long, so it was really cool to be able to collaborate on a song together.
So when you wrote I Am a Machine, how were you feeling when you wrote that? What sort of inspired that song?
Yeah, I was thinking about just how the human fingerprint was getting lost in the technology that we have today. And I think there's so many pros to the tech, the technological advances that we have. but with that comes so many cons. Um, and it's like, how do we take back control in a world where is just so dominated by that? And I'm trying my best to walk that tightrope within this world. I'm not very good at technology. I think that's probably why I respond so much to like the analog synth sounds, is because I feel like it still has that human fingerprint and that imperfection that you don't get when you're programming music. I mean, we do program drums and things like that, um, but yeah, and I think that was the other part that I liked about incorporating Alyssa's singing, is that it broke up the expectation of everything being electronic and so perfect, and it just like it breathed the human life into it. Like when I close my eyes and listen to that, it just sounds like two robots like going to battle.
I'll go to my final question. You said that the album is about confronting the things that we don't want to face, accepting the things we can't control, and fighting for the things that matter.
Yeah.
What matters to you now?
I think um I'm on a very deep faith journey, so that is always at the forefront of everything I do now. And but I don't want to be a spokesperson for that, because I think I don't think I'm worthy to do that at this moment in time. But I think being a mother is very high up there. I find deep joy in raising a child and raising my son, and I feel very lucky that I even get to have a kid so late in my stage of life, and protecting him from a lot of what's going on in this world. That was a big part of why we moved into a rural area where there's a very small town of 1,200 people. I think it's easy to fall into a lot of the divisiveness of the world nowadays, and just ideologies that I just don't really want around my son. And so it's good to be able to shelter him. I think people think that term is a negative thing, whereas I think it's our responsibility as parents to shelter and keep our children safe. So that's kind of been a big part of where I'm at in my life, um and giving my child a shot at some normalcy in a crazy, crazy world. And a lot of that has to do with technology too. I think, like, I don't think it's so healthy that we're exposed to so much news all of the time, or I shouldn't know like everything about somebody's life. And with social media, you're almost like forced to absorb a lot of things that just take you off of a path of a more healthier consciousness. So yeah, it is what it is, but we just have to try to navigate through and do our best, right?
You're doing a great job anyway.
Oh, thank you. I hope so.
But thank you very much for taking the time to do the
Yeah,
interview.
no worries. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me.